The Tefillah Amidah, or the Shemoneh Esrei, has many halachot how a person should actually pray this prayer. The point which runs through all of them is that the Amidah is called standing in front of the king. And therefore there are several halachot, which I'd like to go through as many as I can in the time I have to available to me. There are many more that I won't even get to, but I would like to touch on some of the halachot concerning what's the proper way to pray the Amidah. First of all, a person needs to be properly dressed for the Amidah. Since it is standing before the king, one should be dressed in a way that would be honorable or respectable to stand in front of an important person. So therefore, one should make sure you're properly dressed. You'll probably notice that many people have a custom to put on their jackets or wear hats or be dressed in a way that they would feel it's an honorable, respectable way to stand in front of an important person. One should not pray in their pajamas or in a gown. I saw that in some communities that it says that women are not particular about this particular halacha, and women do daven they do pray in their robes. However, many poskim say that a woman, even a woman who's davening in the house, should be dressed in a way that she would feel comfortable if she was going out of the house, and that's how she should be dressed for praying the Shemoneh Esrei, the Amidah. The Amidah should be said as follows. When a person gets up, it says in Shulchan Aruch that a person should pause slightly before they begin the Amidah to collect their thoughts. When the time comes to begin the Shemoneh Esrei, one takes 3 steps forward. One is approaching the tefillah. Some people, you'll notice, take 3 steps back. First, this is actually not mentioned in the Shulchan Aruch to take 3 steps back. The main thing is to take 3 steps forward. But the general custom is to take 3 steps back in order that one can take their 3 steps forward in order to begin the Amidah. When one comes to the place where they're about to begin their Amidah, they put their 2 feet together. This is because when one prays, one is actually on such an exalted level that one resembles a malach, an angel. And it says that the angels only have 1 leg. So you should put your 2 feet together as if a person only has 1 leg. It's mentioned that not everybody is particular about this, that if one's not holding a siddur, that one should hold their hands like this, one hand over the other, and just all to show that a person is humble and meek in front of Hashem with their head slightly bowed. Of course, if you want to hold a siddur, you can hold a siddur. It's a very good idea. It's mentioned that one should not hold in their hand while they're praying something which they're afraid to drop, because this will distract them. So if, for example, you shouldn't hold a child while you're praying. Sometimes if a woman is davening at home, she doesn't have this option because the only way she can keep a child calm is by holding the child. However, if you're not in that situation, you should not be holding a child when you pray, because you'll be concentrating on holding the child and not on your prayer. The same thing goes for any other valuable item. You should not hold it in your hand because it might cause you to be distracted. You should face Eretz Yisrael. That's if you're in Chutz La'aretz, you should face Eretz Yisrael. If you're in Eretz Yisrael, you should face Yerushalayim. If you're in Yerushalayim, then you face the place wherever the Beit HaMikdash was standing. If you don't know which way to face, you should try to find out. If you cannot, then you can just pray wherever you can and just have your kavanah that you're actually sending your prayers up to Hashem via the place of the Beit HaMikdash. One should daven preferably against a wall, opposite a wall. If that's not possible, that's okay. One should not pray opposite a picture or opposite a mirror. Okay. If a person is incapable of standing because of illness, because of weakness, or people who cannot stand for other reasons, then one can say the Shemoneh Esrei sitting down. Sometimes some authorities say that this is actually preferable if, let's say, a person is on an aeroplane or on a bus, and by standing up they're going to be so distracted. They say that therefore it's even better to daven sitting down. However, in general, if you're able to stand, you should. But if you're incapable of standing, you can still pray the Shemoneh Esrei, the Amidah, sitting down. If you do that, you should put your 2 feet together. You should bow while you're sitting. If you can actually get up to take the 3 steps back, which I'm going to get to in a moment, you should. When you finish the Shemona Esrei, you take 3 steps back, and you go back on your left foot, and then when you've taken your 3rd step back, you turn to the left, you say, Osei Shalom B'Imru Mav, you turn to the right, Osei Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. This is you taking leave from the place where you have prayed the Shemona Esrei. We bow in the Shemona Esrei twice in the beginning and the end of the first bracha, and twice in the beginning and end of the Moedim bracha. You bow when you say the word Baruch, you bend your knees. Atah, you bow down with your head and your body, and then you come up and you say the Shem Hashem after you're already standing up. That's the bowing in the beginning and the end of the first bracha, and then in the Moedim as well. In the Moedim, you don't bend your feet, you don't bend your legs, because you don't say the word Baruch, you just say Moedim Anachnu Lach, you bend, and after you've said the Shem Hashem, the name of Hashem, you come up. Kavana in davening. The single most important bracha in the Shemona Esrei is the first bracha, and a person has to be very careful to concentrate on the words that he's saying and to think about the words he's saying as he is saying them. In the rest of the Shemona Esrei, if you didn't say this, so the tefillah is still a good tefillah, but if one's mind wandered off completely during the first bracha, there's a question whether they actually fulfilled the mitzvah. So it's something that one has to be particularly careful about. Can you pray in languages other than Hebrew? So it's a very big preference to actually pray in Hebrew. A person who cannot pray in Hebrew may pray in a language that they understand, and that's talking about where that's the language that's actually spoken in that place where you are. So, if let's say you live in America and you don't know Hebrew, you can pray in English. The names of Hashem, you should actually say the names of Hashem in Hebrew or the equivalent names in English. You'll notice in some Sidurim, it says the name of Hashem, it says the word Hashem. Blessed are you, Hashem. The word Hashem is not in fact the name of Hashem. It's a way of referring to Hashem without saying His name. So if you are praying in English, you should not say the word Hashem instead of Hashem's name. You should say either the English equivalent or the actual Hebrew word. So those are some of the halachas that one has to keep in mind. There are still some more, but those are some of the halachas that we have for davening the Shemona Esrei. And it's the standing in front of the king, and most of the halachot are actually an expression of that particular situation.